is Hannah Anderson, and today I'm just going to be reading some um, excerpts from this book that I have called Australia's Dangerous Creatures, published by Reader's Digest. I'm sure a lot of us all remember the Reader's Digest. And this is a really, really big book, and there's a lot of information in here. But I used to live in Australia, and so I thought that it would be really interesting if some people wanted to learn more about the animals in Australia as well. But I'll start with two facts. One of them is that 90% of the animals that are in Australia are unique to Australia and not found anywhere else. It's also home to the most deadly snakes, more than any other country. And they also have monotremes. This is something I just learned, which make up some of the only known venomous mammals. So the first one I've started with here, decided to start with, is not venomous. That I was going to read about the dingoes. And I'll make sure to insert some pictures so that you guys are able to see some of this better without just having to watch me as I read. British settlers found Australia's mainland wildlife ruled by dogs, the oldest pure breed in the world. Quickly, the dingoes were condemned as enemies of pastoral agriculture. In retaliation for occasional raids on livestock, dingoes were trapped, shot, or poisoned in hundreds of thousands. To help eliminate the breed from the farmed grasslands of the southeast, a fence longer than the Great Wall of China was built. The states declared wild dogs noxious animals, making it obligatory for landowners to destroy all dingoes on their properties. These unique dogs remain common only in the arid hinterland and in unpopulated regions of the far north. In the other strongholds of dingoes, ranging along the eastern highlands, the breed is disappearing through mixture with runaway domestic dogs. Branded a coward. Throughout many decades of vilification and persecution, the dingo's possible menace to people was seldom mentioned. It was more fashionable to regard the animal as a cur, altogether too cowardly to attack humans. That view was tenable because the contact between dingoes and settlers declined, and animals remaining in farmed areas became extremely wary. If people are tending to think differently today, it is because of a renewed familiarity, brought on mainly by the development of tourism in Central Australia. During the pioneering age, reports of dingoes snatching children and attacking adults were not uncommon. Few contained much detail, but John Gale, a respected newspaper proprietor and historian, gave complete credence to one such tale. In Canberra, Its History and Legends, published in 1927, when Gale was 98 years old, he told of the death of a girl at Mount Tennant in 1845. The girl, 12 years old, hid in bush near her home to escape punishment from her mother. Her gnawed bones were found the next day. Gale concluded his account by noting, "It is well known that dingoes in numbers, and when pressed by hunger, would attack even an adult. And it was by no means an uncommon thing in the far back days to come upon human remains that had been gnawed by dingoes." Next section is called Attacked While Saving a Calf. Most other stories involve children of 2 years or younger, but Sir John Cleland recounted an attack by a single dog on an adult. A young farmer, hearing a cow bellowing at night, found it defending its newborn calf from a dingo. When the farmer stooped to pick up the calf, the dingo sprang, knocked him over, and badly damaged him. Virtually nothing is known of the experiences of tribal Aborigines who, before they adopted European dogs, lived at close quarters with semi domesticated dingoes and competed with the wild ones for food. The initial coronial inquiry into the disappearance of Azaria Chamberlain received secondhand evidence of the scars borne by a North Queensland Aborigine who was said to have been seized by the head and dragged from his parents' campsite as a boy. Near Inaminka, in the 1930s, a young stockman is said to have been stalked and set upon by dingoes after he was thrown from his horse and broke a leg. And I've got a couple more pictures here that I can show you. He was thrown from his horse and broke a leg, but the inclination of dingoes to track people and vehicles was generally put down to curiosity and an appetite for scraps, rather than to any menacing intention. Dingoes never attack men. That accepted view was stated twice by a leading zoologist, Dr. A.J. Marshall of Monash University in Melbourne, even as he described an attempted attack on himself in 1965. Writing in Australian Natural History magazine about a university expedition to an unpopulated district of the Kimberleys in northern Western Australia, Marshall told how he peppered a snarling dingo with birdshot as it charged at him. He believed that this animal, never having seen humans, had mistaken him for an oversized wallaby. The next section is called Night of Terror. When a policeman in far western Queensland was beset by a dingo pack in 1978, he knew that veteran bushmen would scoff if he told his story, and they did. But he remains convinced that the dogs were determined to bring him down and would have killed and eaten him if they had succeeded. Stranded at night on the edge of the Simpson Desert, when his utility broke down, Constable Dale Cyril faced a long, lonely walk to his base at Bedore, but he soon had company. For more than 50 kilometers, he was followed and harassed by dingoes. Throughout the night, Cyril, 26, wielded a tree branch as dogs rushed in to snap at his heels or try to jump on him. He nursed a box of matches, lighting one occasionally to scare them off, but they stalked him relentlessly. Next morning, when he reached a main road and waved down a tour bus, they were still there, watching him from just off the road. At that time, late in the 1970s, public opinion had swung in favor of dingoes. Thorough field studies have shown that they rarely took domestic livestock unless drought made marsupial prey scarce. Then it was mostly the carrion of dead stock that they ate. Destructive raids in which stock was killed or maimed, apparently just for the hell of it, were often found to be the work of packs of renegade farm dogs or pets, sometimes hybridized with dingoes. Many graziers in semi-arid country, especially those running only cattle, began to welcome wild dingoes for the good they did in keeping down feral pigs, rabbits, and goats. The next section is called Limited Protection. In natural parks that did not adjoin grazing properties, dingoes gained protection as native wildlife. Meanwhile, in towns, more and more people opened flouted state laws against keeping dingoes as pets. I'm going to show you this picture right here. And I'm pretty sure you're thinking, why would somebody want dingo as a pet? As conservationists lobbied to have the breed fully protected, and native dog societies vigorously promoted the cause of private ownership. The popular perception of dingoes was turned topsy turvy. Speedily, a despised animal became an object of admiration. The media, even while still recording alarming mishaps with dingoes in captivity, gave prominence to items demonstrating the good nature and intelligence of the breed. Triumphs in dog obedience classes, where dingoes frequently outpointed Doberman, Pinschers, and German Shepherds, were headlined. Proposals were advanced to train dingoes for guard work or police and military use. Australia Post featured the breed in a stamp issue, and an army unit in Queensland adopted a dingo as its mascot. The dingo deserved recognition as an important breed of dog, but the rush of publicity in its favor, particularly in the cities, obscured the fact that the dingoes of the outback were wild, predatory animals. And so there's a lot more on dingoes, but I think we kind of covered the important bits. So stay tuned, and we'll find another Australia's dangerous creatures to read about. Thank you.